Hello, welcome to another tutorial. I hope you're doing well. I am from Galvix to help you out with your sales tax registration in Idaho. So, if you have this question, how to register for sales tax in Idaho, then this is going to be a video where I'm going to walk you through how actually you need to fill the application and how to get started. So, let's get started. The first thing is to know whether you're an Idaho based business or an out of state business. So, first up, if you operate or are based in Idaho, meaning that you have a physical location like a store, office, or warehouse here, then you are considered as an in state business or an Idaho business. So, here, if you don't have a physical location in Idaho but are selling to customers, then you are an out of state business. Okay. So, for both of these types of businesses, the process is slightly different, but at the end, you're going to fill the same application. So, I'll tell you what is different about the process. So, let's get started. Before going ahead, we are going to make sure that we have this information gathered. That will be your step one. And after this is done, we are going to navigate to the Idaho's homepage, which is for business registrations. So business.idaho.gov. I typed GOC. Okay, let's type that again. Okay, there you go. So type in business.idaho.gov and it's going to lead you to this homepage, which is your state and federal resources for business page. And now, here you see register your business. So click on that. Now, for in state businesses, like we just discussed, Idaho based businesses, you will need to do a business registration here on this portal, which is the Idaho Secretary of State portal. So you're led here. Now, if you are an in Idaho business, then you're going to go ahead and fill in one of these applications, which is labeled Foreign Entity Registration. Now, I know this could be confusing because why is it saying foreign if I am an in state business? So let me explain that. Firstly, you're right to question why those forms appear to be foreign. So, Idaho here basically considers foreign in the context that these are businesses formed outside of Idaho that are now wanting to operate within Idaho. So, if you are to be called domestic businesses, that is in Idaho businesses, then you would be created and registered in Idaho. So, hence, you will not be called foreign. So that's why you are here referred to as a foreign entity. So don't get confused. It is the right form. You will go ahead and click on one of these things that apply to you based on your business structure, a corporation, non-profit corporation, LLC, or which of or whatever from this list, and click on one of them. Read that each of these applications do have a filing fee, and click on File Online. Now you can go ahead and create an account, and this will ensure that your data is entered, and your registration process will begin with the Secretary of State's office. Okay, so this was for the in Idaho businesses. Now let's talk about out of Idaho businesses. You don't need to go through this process, and both of you, for coming back to registering for sales tax, will end up on the same website. That would be the IBRS. So after coming back from there, you're going to click on IBRS. So if you were an in Idaho business who got registered with the Secretary of State, then you're going to come back here. If you were not, if you're an out of state business, then you will directly come and click on the IBRS form. So let's get started with the sales tax application from here. As you can see, you can apply for multiple types of taxes here, including unemployment insurance, your withholding tax. So, all of those could be here. And the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and create a new account. Okay, so let's enter our login information that we want to have and save this password because chances are that we will forget it. So, make sure that you have this saved. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and click on new registration. Okay, so we land on this page. Now you see the information here to proceed. That's something that we already covered in the first step. So now that you have your information, we're going to click on proceed. So this is where we need to start filling application. Now let's start with authorization. Enter the information for the person we should contact about your registration / account. So put in that name here, contact person title. Okay, now we move ahead. Okay, so let's select the purpose of registration. It could be either you're a new applicant, or you're adding a new account type, changing legal name, or adding or changing any location for your business, or if you're doing it to change your business name or partners or shareholders, you can go ahead and select whichever one applies to you. I'm going to apply on new applicant, and I'm considering that you would also do so. So let's go ahead. Now, this is where you're going to fill in your business type. Your business type could be either of these. Um, and click on the day. Now, you fill in the date business began in Idaho. So, this is the date when you actually started selling taxable goods in Idaho. This is where your tax will be calculated from. And this is your fiscal year end. And now, here you will add in the date of your business's incorporation and the state it got incorporated in. Okay, so once you have filled in your business type information and the rest of the business information, let's go ahead. This section will be your FEIN. Now let us go ahead and add your legal business name. Now this could be different from your business functioning name, which is your DBA, doing business as. So go ahead and type that, and you can optionally type in your DBA also, which is the name of the business that you are functioning as. Okay, now fill in the number. Now, this is the part where you're going to add in the address of your business, the physical address. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. If your mailing address is the same as your primary physical address, then you can just click here, it will autofill it. Wonderful. We click save address. Okay, now this is the address that you would want Idaho State Tax Commission to mail all your forms to whenever needed. So, in case this is the same as your business address, then again go ahead and click here. If not, you can type in a different address too. Now, they also give you an option of if you have different form addresses for different permit types, you can enter them as well, and click on save. Right. Now, if you have multiple physical locations for your business in Idaho, then you will enter them here. If you have no other physical address, then you will click OK and continue registration. Okay, so this is the part where you're going to be filling in your primary business activity details, which would be an NAICS information, but that's how it's labeled here. You can go ahead and search here on the search bar, or just click one of these options here. I'm going to select retail trade and click on one of these options that apply to you again. Yes. Okay. So more questions are asked here about your primary business function. So you can give in a detailed explanation of what exactly you do in your business. Okay, the first one, professional employer organizations, PEOs. So, are you a PEO? If yes, are you a certified PEO? That's what it asks. So, now a PEO is basically a company that co employs your employees. They handle your payroll, benefits, and HR. So, if you are a PEO registering for your client, or if your business uses a PEO, then you'll need to indicate that as yes. Otherwise, it would be a no. Okay, so the first three questions are about PEOs, which is Professional Employer Organization. Now, here, a PEO basically is a company that co employs your employees, handling things like payroll, benefits, and HR. If you are a PEO, registering for your clients, or if your business uses a PEO, then you'll need to indicate this is yes and provide the necessary information. Otherwise, you can go ahead with a no. Now, the next one is, are you a common paymaster? So, the next three questions are about that. So, this is typically relevant if you have multiple related companies that choose to centralize their payroll processing under one entity. So, if you are acting as a common paymaster, or if your business is a part of a common paymaster arrangement, then you will go ahead and select yes and enter the name of the common paymaster. If none of these are relevant to you, then just go ahead with the no. Now, the next one is, are you an IRS 3504 pay agent? So, this designation applies to agents authorized under the IRS section 3504 to act on behalf of an employer for employment tax purposes. Now, if you are this, or if your business uses one, then you are going to be mentioning the details here. Okay, otherwise, you can go ahead with the no. Now, at the end, if you are a PEO, CPEO, or Common Paymaster, or IRS 3504 agent, then you will be required to email a list of current employer clients to this email address, and make sure that you email this after completing your application. So we move on to the next section. Okay, here is where we're going to add in responsible officers, owners. So let's go ahead. For your business, you can add an individual or a business. Okay. Now, this is a section where you're going to give in information about any prior permits or accounts that
Okay,
you
so you can
had
add in as
in
many as
Idaho.
you'd want.
So, if
I'm
you
good with
did, then
one.
you will
So
check in one
let's
of
move on with
these.
this.
If not, then we can go ahead. Okay, so this is the section where you're going to provide details about your employees. So, first question is pretty straightforward. Do you or will you have employees who work in Idaho? If you do, then you go ahead and click on yes. If not, no. Now, the important question here to ask is, who qualify as your employees? So, firstly, employees are people, and you can find that information here also. Employees are people who are paid by you, and they are engaged in your business activities from your direction and control. If they are free from that, then they will not be considered your employees. Like subcontractors who perform services for you are not your employees. So if they're engaged in their own independent businesses, then they won't be considered as your employees. So based on that, you select the people that working for you, if they qualify as employees or not, and then answer this question. Then the next one is, do you or will you have employees living in Idaho who will be working in another state? Now, this addresses situations where your employees reside in Idaho but commute or work remotely for your business from a location outside of Idaho. And if this applies for your business, then you will select yes. Now, the next one is, will you withhold Idaho income tax for employees who live in Idaho but work outside of Idaho? Just because an employee lives in Idaho but works elsewhere doesn't automatically mean that you have to withhold Idaho income tax. But however, many employers do this as a convenience for their Idaho resident employees. If you plan to do this, which is withhold Idaho income tax in this situation, then you can go ahead and click yes. Then the next question is, are corporate officers compensated for services performed for the corporation? Now, services performed pertains specifically to services performed in Idaho. Now, this question focuses on the compensation of corporate officers for work that they do within Idaho. If your corporate officers receive compensation for services that they perform in Idaho, then you will select this as yes. Otherwise, a no. Now, the last one is, will you withhold Idaho income tax for retirees who live in Idaho? Um, so this question again pertains to pension or retirement payments made to individuals that are residing in Idaho. Withholding Idaho income tax from these payments is often optional, but can be done if you choose to. If you do this, then uh, then you will then you will click on yes. Okay, so we move on after answering these questions. Okay, now this is a straightforward question about whether your business will be using independent contractors, contract labor, or subcontractors. So, if your business does, then you can go ahead and select yes. If your business will not be using any of these, then simply click no. If you have acquired all or part of the existing business that you're registering for, then you will select so. If not, then click on none and move ahead. Okay, now we come to this section, federal unemployment, where you subject to the Federal Unemployment Tax Act during the current or preceding year. Now, the FUTA, which is Federal Unemployment Tax Act, is a federal law that requires most employers to pay unemployment tax. Now, this tax helps fund unemployment benefits for workers who lose their jobs in case. So, think about your business's situation in this year and the year before. And if your business met the criteria, then you were subject to this. Then you go ahead and select yes. If not, it's a no. Okay, if you will have any workers from Idaho State, then you will go ahead and click on yes as per your business requirement. If not, no. And again, the last question is, have you paid or will you pay $1,500 or more in wages during any calendar quarter? So, again, based on your business activity, you click on the option yes or no. So, let's move ahead. I know this seems long, but hence we have sales tax compliance solutions, right? Because registration processes could be so long, but now we are almost at the end, only four more sections to go. So grab yourself a glass of water and let's finish this. Okay. So we come to this section, travel and convention and auditorium districts. Okay, these questions now relate to specific types of businesses involved in short term lodging, um, and their potential obligations related to these districts. So, the first question here, will you rent sleeping accommodations for periods of 30 days or less? This applies to businesses like hotels, motels, vacation rentals, and similar establishments that offer short term stays. If your business does this, then you will select yes. Otherwise, no. Now, the second question is, Will you operate a hotel, motel, or provide temporary lodging for periods of 30 days or less within a designated auditorium district? Now you can see maps below that are given here for each district for the district boundaries. This is more specific. Now, certain areas in Idaho, like um, these, have established auditorium districts, and businesses do provide short term lodging within these boundaries. And that may make them have some additional tax or reporting requirements. So, you'll need to review the maps and determine if your business location falls within one of these districts. If it does, and you operate a hotel, motel, or any sort of lodging, then you will then you will select a yes. Yeah. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, are you a short-term rental marketplace? This refers to online platforms or businesses that facilitate short-term rental transactions, like Airbnb or VRBO. Uh, so though you might not be the platform itself, but a business operating as one could make you eligible for this question. Answer is yes. So if your business operates such a marketplace, then you will click on yes. Otherwise, no. So let's move ahead after you're done with this. Okay, now we come to the sales and use tax section. Will you be making sales in or into Idaho? Sales include the following. So read all of these, and if you do apply into any of these, then you will select yes. So because I selected jewelry, that would be goods. So that is where I'm going to select yes. So select this according to you. Now the next question that get pro- now the next question is, your sales in or into Idaho made to customers? A consumer, including contractors, will use the goods rather than resell them. So yes, this will be to contractors in my case, but this basically wants to know whether you sell your products directly to consumers, or are there any contractors in the middle that get involved who resell these items. If you select no, then it indicates that you do not have a sales tax obligation in Idaho. So, for example, if you only make wholesale sales to businesses who will resell the goods, then you might not need to collect sales tax. So, this question in this section is very crucial. If you're unsure whether your activities constitute as taxable or not, then it is best to consult the Idaho State Tax Commission's website, or you can seek advice from a tax professional. And once you're through this, let's get to the next section. Okay, here the first question asks, will you buy goods to use in Idaho that you haven't paid Idaho sales tax on and that don't qualify for an exemption? Examples are items bought online or from sellers who don't collect Idaho sales tax, items bought in a state that doesn't have sales tax, or that has a lower sales tax rate than Idaho, digital online purchases of music, movies, books, or games that you have a permanent right to use, etc. Um, so this question is about use tax. If you purchase tangible goods or digital products for your own use in Idaho and didn't pay um, for sales tax in Idaho at the time of purchase, then you might owe use tax. If this applies to your business, then you will select yes. Otherwise, no. Now, the next question is, are you a multi level marketing company that will collect sales tax for your agents? So, if your business operates on a multi level marketing model where you, as the parent company, will be responsible for collecting and remitting sales tax on behalf of your independent agents' sales in Idaho, then you should select this as yes. Otherwise, that'll be a no. Now, the next one is, will you own or operate an amusement device in Idaho? An amusement device provides entertainment through coin, currency, or card operation. Examples are video games, pool tables, or jukeboxes. So, if your business owns or operates any such amusement devices in Idaho, then you will need to select yes. Otherwise, no. Now, the final question here asks, do you sell prepaid wireless service? Now, if your business does sell prepaid wireless phone services to customers in Idaho, then select yes. Otherwise, no. So, these questions address specific scenarios where use tax might be applicable or where there are particular rules for sales tax collection. such as for multi-level marketing, amusement devices. So make sure that you answer these accurately, because these will help you determine if any of these specific regulations apply to your business. Now, once we're through that, let's get to the next section. Okay. Now, these are questions about beer, wine, cigarette, tobacco. So, if your business is involved in sales of any of these, then you will go ahead and select yes. This is important because tax regulation may differ based on your sale of any of these. So, let's go ahead. Now, we are at the out of state retailers marketplace facilitators section. So, this applies if your business doesn't have a physical presence in Idaho, but you're selling to customers here. As it says, as of June 1st, 2019, out of state retailers or marketplace facilitators with total sales into Idaho exceeding $100,000 in the current or previous calendar year are generally needed to have an Idaho seller's permit. Now we need to go and select the one that applies to us most. The first one is if your total sales into Idaho don't exceed $100,000, but you still want to collect Idaho sales tax, maybe perhaps for customer convenience, then you can go ahead and select this checkbox. Now, in different scenarios, the first option here is for out of state retailers who sell into Idaho through a marketplace facilitator, and whose total sales into Idaho, including those through the marketplace, exceed $100,000. If this applies to you, you can go ahead and select this. The second option is for out of state marketplace facilitators who only facilitate sales for third parties into Idaho, and those third party sales exceed $100,000. So you will select that. And the third option is for out of state retailers who sell directly and through a marketplace facilitator into Idaho, and their total sales from both methods exceed $100,000. So, finally, if none of these situations apply to your business, select none of the above. Okay. Choose the option that accurately reflects your business operations as an out of state seller or marketplace facilitator in Idaho. Once you've made the selection, you can go ahead and select OK, continue registration. Now, another thing is if you'd like a more detailed video explaining the nuances of economic nexus and marketplace facilitator rules in Idaho, then please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to help you with that. So let's get to next section. Okay, now we've reached the workers' compensation section. So this is about insurance that covers your employees if they get injured on the job. Now, the first question here is: do you have a workers' compensation insurance policy? um, you have three options here: no, yes, and in process. So if you select no, that would mean that you do not currently have a workers compensation insurance policy. That's a very heavy word. Workers compensation insurance policy, thank you. And if you select yes, then that means that you do have it. In process would mean that you started the process of obtaining it. So your answer will help the state understand your current coverage status. And if you answer no or in process, you may receive further instructions or requirements regarding obtaining this coverage, as it's often mandatory for businesses within employers in Idaho. So you go ahead. If you click on yes, then you will need to provide insurance company name, the policy number, the effective date, and the name of the agent and their phone number. So, so yeah, here's a guide of how I can actually get it. Finally, we've reached the Idaho Business Directory section. Now, this is about whether you want your business to be listed in publicly available online directory. You can choose yes or no based on your preference. You can go ahead and read this. It's basically a disclaimer about if selecting yes means that this information is going to be available publicly. So you can go ahead with what your preference is, and let's move on. So We are almost at the end. Now, this is the summary of your application. So, we can review whatever it is that you filled already. And if you need to change anything, you can go ahead and edit this section wise, which is wonderful. And make sure that you go through all of this once, because it's possible to make any mistakes. And once we submit it, it'll get very difficult for us to correct those. So ensure at the time of submission that you're happy with the information filled. Okay. Now, based off of the information that I filled in, I am applying for sales permit. So once I'm happy with this, I will click on I have reviewed the information on this page and verify it is accurate and complete. Okay, great. Now I have finished my sales tax application. I would advise you to save this page if you want, so that you remember what you have filled. Just go ahead and click on print page, and that's going to give you a PDF. So you can click on saving that, and ensure that you save this, which is the confirmation number. This is always important in case you don't receive your sales tax in a few weeks, or as it's mentioned here, 5 to 10 days. You can always go back to the state's helpline and check with this number what your progress is. I appreciate you watching until the end. I hope this helped. If you need anything else that you want to understand about sales tax registration in Idaho, then let me know. I'll be happy to make more videos on this. And I would appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And check out Galvix down below. We are a sales tax compliance solution. We actually do this for you and make it very, very simple for you. So if you think you would be benefited with us, then please feel free to go check out galvix.com. And I'll see you again. Bye bye.